another episode of That Range Life Show, sometimes about golf. Kris, happy Valentine's Day. We're recording on Valentine's Day. We were supposed to be having a romantic Valentine's Day dinner together, but just fell apart.
It's true. Are you drinking a libation, or is that just grape juice or something?
No, I made a beverage.
Oh, okay. School night drinking, huh?
School night. Yeah. I just wanted to.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the Valentine's Day spirit. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm taking it easy tonight. I'm just having a nice glass of a Pinot.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not even kidding here. I feel like this could be the first time I've ever seen you drink a glass of wine. And I don't mean they're like, oh, I didn't think you drink wine, but I've never seen you have one.
It's true. Yeah. And it's usually for dinner, you know, so I'm classy that way. Yeah.
This is what they say about you. Like he's classy.
Anyways.
He's classy. His beverages will tell you. All right. Usual housekeeping. If you're listening to us here on That Range Life Show, sometimes about golf, thank you for listening to our podcast. And please tell a friend. Make sure you subscribe. Leave a review. You're the podcast expert.
Sure.
I had the audacity to say, if you're happy, I'm happy about it. And that turned into some I'm always happy thing. Like, what? I was just saying, if you're happy with how the podcast is doing, what are the podcast procedures you need to do and call to actions?
It's mostly
still not good there.
It's mostly subscribe to the podcast, rate it if you can, leave a review. If you can't do any of those things, because I think some podcast providers don't provide that option. So if you can't do any of those things, then what you do is you tell your best friend and your biggest enemy.
Oh, I like that.
That way, you know what? If you don't like the show, you can put it on someone else.
Or you could just tell both of them you don't really like it, and we do understand it. Can I tell a quick podcast new listener acquisition anecdote, perhaps?
Okay.
As we get started here.
Sure.
So I have a friend down in Florida, born and raised up here, grew up with them. Text me out of the blue today, the Driving Range Heroes logo. And I was like, I don't know what I asked him. I said, how'd you end up there? What were you Googling? He goes, so my high school recently that I went to, and then we went to, right, played a game nationally televised against LeBron James' son's high school.
James, right.
And it was nationally broadcast. So like all the people were watching it. We had the audacity to try to go out to dinner downtown the night of the game. Okay. And it was about 2 hours before tip off, thinking should be fine. Plenty of time. And nice and early with two small children, man, everywhere 2 hour wait. Like just not.
Because of the game in your local high school? Like when you say downtown, you mean your downtown, not mine.
Yes,
right,
correct.
Right.
And so then we're like, that's fine. We're going to go over to, and to be fair, it is a weekend night. So like, yeah, it's a busy night, but I mean, that's
pretty egregious.
Out of control.
Pretty severe.
The one restaurant that was open, you could see it just because you could see inside, is one I'm on like year 6 or 7 of a boycott. And my wife and I both, and like the boycott has extended to my immediate family, like my parents and whatnot, my sister and her family, to just friends that didn't grow up. And it's a restaurant that's been in town forever. And they're just like, oh, you guys are boycotting that place? All right, we'll boycott it. So I kind of like, part of me is like, whoa, hey, I'm that guy with a business. And but you know what? Hey, I'm boycotting you for a reason, and I appreciate the support of these other people that are joining the boycott. Hold it, like I say with you all the time. Like, well, if you have a grudge going,
right? Yeah,
you're my friend. I have your grudge.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, your grudge is my grudge. Your boycott is my boycott.
So, by the way, while we're here, I assume now, without me even going into it, you're boycotting the place. You don't even need to know the name.
I mean, it's not like Al's, right, or something really good.
Oh, Al's and Johnny's could do whatever they want, and I couldn't boycott it. No.
Okay. So then, yeah, I'm on board. I don't need to know the name of it. I mean, if you want me to, never mind. I won't. I was gonna make an arson joke, but I don't want to be on record.
Yeah, this is when our lack of your lack of seriousness on this podcast catches up.
Right. Anyways, yeah,
he tells me we go a town over, and even they were like all booked up. It was out of control. So this game's happening, and for whatever reason, my buddy who lives in Florida now is like, going to Google what I believe what he said to me. I Googled what folks from back home are doing. Folks from back home.
Okay. So he's fully immersed in Florida language.
And so he's like, he happened upon Driving Range Heroes, and then that led him to this show. Whether now that I think about it, I'm not sure if it's on YouTube or on a podcast.
Sure.
But either way, he says he's a huge podcast guy, and he might have to add this to his rotation because he listens to so many. He still has something to fill. So first off, Matt, what's up?
Yeah, man.
Glad you might be listening now. But talk about just weird things, and someone hitting me up going, I might listen to your podcast now. And I'm like, oh, great.
Right.
And then he asked me, he's like, do you listen to any podcasters or anything you try to like emulate or whatever? And I go, no.
It's a good question. I don't think, no, I don't. It's kind of funny. You would think one of us, and you're a big podcast. You listen to a lot of podcasts, right? I mean, I listen to quite a few.
I used to. I think we talked about it in Lockdown Golf podcast days. Like, I listen to them like crazy with the big commute every day to and from the city.
Oh, yeah.
But pandemic hit, and I struggle to get through, I would say, 2 hours of a podcast a week. Because I like listen to them. I listen to them in like when I'm taking showers or kind of like before I go to bed, just sort of like cool down a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's it. I just don't listen to them a ton. And then because like I have satellite, so in the car, so I'm paying for that. So I want to hear what I'm paying for, otherwise why do I got this subscription? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just don't listen to podcasts much. And so I was a little touched. He did say it's like you guys could be the spitting chicklets of golf. And I'm like, I'm flattered.
Wow. Yeah.
Maybe.
Tell a friend, Matt.
If so, not intentionally. Matt was one of my groomsmen in my wedding, for the record. Right. He's a dude. Yeah, I don't think we do emulate anybody, at least intentionally. In that, I mean, I would say we definitely don't emulate people intentionally, right?
Right. Yeah, we may be like X show or something, but yeah, we're not trying to be anything.
There are certainly shows where like I don't want to be like that.
Oh, for sure.
That song "Be Like That" by Three Doors Down just jumped in my head when I said that. I was like, oh no, you know what? All right, that's that range life. See you guys next week. Jesus. Yeah. So there's a slight story about the podcast and spreading the good word, and we appreciate when people do that. Yeah. I didn't hit on,
but Matt, that doesn't preclude you from rating the show and leaving a review.
We really appreciate it, Matt. I will tell your parents next time I see them you didn't do it. Okay. That's how this works.
I will tell on you.
Do you know what Matt should do, by the way, while he's at driverangeheroes.com or listening to our show?
Yeah, what's it?
Maybe you should check out Bridgestone Golf Balls.
Oh, God, you give me every time. You beat me every time to it. You're so good at that.
We didn't bring it up last show at all.
It's true. You're right.
But Bridgestone Golf Balls, the official golf ball of that Range Lifer show, sometimes about golf, especially when we're talking about their golf balls. If you haven't heard about their new autonomous fitting system that's being rolled out, Auto, check it out. It can hit you. What is it? Three balls on the range and
3 golf balls off a driver face, and they'll get you straightened out.
Get you right into
the right golf ball.
Into the right golf ball for your game, at least that day. And you know what? If you have to go back and get fit again, it's fun. More golf balls for you to try.
All right. You can hit more golf balls, but if you only have time to hit 3, that's enough.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? God forbid you just have to buy all the Bridgestone golf balls because they're all that good. Okay.
They really are.
That's what you should do. Bridgestone golf balls. Check them out.
#facts.
As we roll in here, have you noticed, and it happened in the last week, the return? I don't know if it's a return. A launch of sorts of the David Letterman YouTube channel.
No, I'm not aware of this. And I love David Letterman.
I didn't bring it up with you because I figured you would be aware of it if anybody was. That's shocking to me.
Well, it'll find me now since I've said the words into a microphone. I'm sure my phone or my computer is listening. So hopefully it comes up.
Oh, but for sure.
What is it? What's on it? Is it old Letterman stuff or is it new? Or
yeah, and it's everything in there. I'm curious what the end game here is, unless it's somebody like of Worldwide Pants fame said, we're missing out on like YouTube monetization. Let's do this. But like I watched, Snoop Dogg was in the halftime show of the Super Bowl, which will obligatorily, is that a word? Obligatorily talk about shortly. But so they did like top 10. It's like 10 things that sound cool when Snoop Dogg says them. It's very funny. I don't know if you remember that. Do you
remember the bit? Will it float?
God, do I ever?
Best.
And how they'd have the like grinder girl with the metal suit, like grinding all the like stuff just to throw like a log into the water.
The best. And that girl, the grinder girl, remember, she was like a stupid human trick, and they were like, we'll bring her back all the time now to do Will It Float. God, that show was so
Paul,
great.
Will It Float?
We were just we went to dinner with some friends, I think, and we were talking about Letterman, and he's such a fascinating person because Letterman was not a nice human early in his career as a talk show host.
I don't know if he was late in his career.
Well, I think he's softened now. Like you see him on like his Netflix show, and he's
Oh, okay, fair. I'm thinking like.
Oh no, yeah,
all the TV stuff.
No, and there's like there's a reason that there are probably many reasons, but one of the reasons that he didn't get the the NBC Johnny Carson slot was because of that a little bit. And he did things like, he kept the studio really cold all the time. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't pre-interview. Like he didn't do the cold interview stuff. Like for those that don't know, there's a pre-interview that happens before the on television interview where they want to get their stories, like what do I want to ask about this, blah, blah, whatever. He wouldn't do that.
Much like we do for this show.
Right.
When we have guests on.
Right. I don't pre-interview any of my guests, just saying. But yeah, so he wouldn't do that, which made a lot of people uncomfortable and nervous. And then he was just kind of, a little cold and off-putting to people. And he obviously had some issues behind the scenes.
We're talking not just issues. Like,
right. But at the end of the day, man, God, I feel like it was one of my early in my life, like appointment television shows. Like before I could even get all the jokes, I still would watch.
Oh, I don't know if it's because just wanting to do something because your parents were doing it late, and you wanted to see what it was or whatever. Yeah. But same thing. I remember being like 8 years old and just pumped because Friday night I could stay up and watch it. I'm like, I'm going to watch the whole thing. And I fell asleep, obviously. But
I remember connecting the dots because I had seen Blues Brothers. Mm-hmm. And I think Paul Schaefer was in Blues Brothers. And then I saw Paul Schaefer on David Letterman as obviously the music conductor or whatever.
The band leader.
Yeah, band leader. And that's kind of like how I made it like, oh, okay. And I think that's why I actually started watching. I didn't even know who David Letterman was, but God, some of that stuff, man, he's so good.
Old bits
I got to
get
on YouTube and spend a billion hours watching that.
It had like I want to say the Late Show YouTube channel just was decades of Letterman stuff. And obviously shortly after, not right away when he was done, just wiped and like it disappeared from the internet.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see it. I just wonder but I don't care enough. The technicalities on how they're allowed to like release all of it under Letterman's YouTube channel. But either way, it's great.
Yeah, I'm sure at some point he negotiated that into a contract that he owns all that stuff or something. If he had like the foresight, the George Lucas foresight to get his hands on ownership of that.
Side note on that. Howard Stern has always done that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he can replay all of it, on Sirius now.
Right.
And he talks about all the time how even, 1982, he was like, no, I own all this stuff.
Yeah.
Talk about another one where it's just like, man, the decades, and that's a daily show and how many hours, just the decades of content that probably he couldn't, even if he didn't record a show for how long, he couldn't replay all of it.
Right. If he stopped today, you couldn't.
Then you wonder when he does stop, where's that all going to go? What's going to happen to it? And I don't think they're just going to release all the shows on YouTube at any point, but at least I'm hopefully knocking on wood. You can hear that through the microphone. Texting my ass.
Right.
That's like drums, right? Where you cymbal grab. Letterman's YouTube stuff will live on and be very exciting. It's sort of weird now, and I didn't think this would happen, but literally decades of watching him, just sort of clean shaven, whatever.
Yeah.
And now you're just in so many years getting used to the big grizzly beard.
Yeah.
It's weird watching him in these clips without having a beard.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
So check out that. Check out the Letterman YouTube channel if you haven't. If you don't like David Letterman, well, you're a poopy pants. So
whoa.
Yeah,
I didn't mean that.
I didn't mean to bring out the harsh language. Sorry.
Now I gotta check the explicit box on the podcast.
Right. I'm just gonna wash my mouth out with this Clean Flight cleaning solution. It's got all sorts of treats here on the desk. All right, Super Bowl.
All
right, I have a hand. I wasn't like you have a note. It wasn't you weren't super engaged. Neither was I.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong. I feel like who do you want to win? Then I don't know. This Bengals winning and having like somewhere around 1/3 of the LSU national championship team. It's a fun story.
Yeah.
You know, Joe Burrow played 4 games last year and was injured and then comes and wins the Super Bowl this year. That would have been cool.
Yep.
It's a good story. It's a good story.
Yep.
Cincinnati. And I've been there before.
You've never been to LA?
Not only in like passing.
Wow.
Never like in it. Right. And that's one of the reasons I was excited for our trip.
Yeah, man. That's crazy. LA's pretty cool.
So LA Rams, saw a video from some of my middle school lunch table show guys.
Oh yeah.
If you will.
Yeah.
They were out there and they did like a whole after the game man on the street bit.
Oh God.
Like interviewing fan. Well, because there is like that was a joke.
Right.
There is no fan base there.
Right.
People like just didn't care right after they won the Super Bowl in their home stadium.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, hey, congrats to Matt Stafford. That's cool. I'm not an Odell Beckham Jr. guy, but I kind of feel like the guy is really good at football. So like, hey, you got a Super Bowl. All right, that's cool. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. I had no.
It was nice. It wasn't the usual
involved. I didn't have a square. I had no reason really to watch it other than it was the Super Bowl, and
you're one of a billion people who feel who were in the exact same situation.
Right.
And I think it's fun. It wasn't the same old teams as always. Like, hey, it wasn't Patriots. It wasn't Tom Brady.
Correct. And it was a relatively good game for the most part. You know, it was close. But
right. So it was cool. Yeah. Cool. Great. Yeah. The halftime show. Everyone's talked about it. Who are we? Especially by the time this drops, like, who cares? What
everyone's already forgot about all of it.
Well, everyone's already talked about it, but like, and I'm not. This isn't a hot take because I'm not by no means the first one to make it, but. Holy shit, the amount of people who it's the best halftime show ever. 90s kids. Well, first off, 90s kid. If you were, I want to define that. My wife made this point.
You're what? You're who?
Born, my wife.
Okay.
She said, real quick, Yak Shemesh, question for you. And I said, all right. She's like, 90s babies. Because it was like, the 90s babies. This was great for them. Are you born in the 90s or like
no
my time? Because that's what if you were
I'm the demo for that group. That
I would say I felt like 35 to 45. I'm confident. I'm comfortable with that number.
Yeah.
You know, you can go outside of that a little bit. But if you were born in 1995, nothing in that except Kendrick Lamar, maybe nothing in that has any nostalgic relevance to you. But here's what was hilarious. Everyone was so excited about it. It's like, finally something that isn't for the old crowd. I'm like, isn't for the old crowd. It's still for 40 up. And don't get me wrong. That's probably the best. Like
the Chronic was the Chronic came out in 92, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, but that's, you know.
And all I was hoping for the whole time, I'm like, fine, you have Snoop and Dre together. You have to give us some like original Death Row, Snoop and Dr. Dre stuff, and not like all the post 2000 stuff, which was fine. It was good.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it there in California, and so California love when Tupac's dead. Come on, there's so many other bangers we could have gone to. Anyway, it was good. Can't take anything away from it. It was good.
I like it a lot.
Best Super Bowl performance of all time. Excuse me, Prince.
Yeah. In the rain.
In the
Are you joking?
Rain.
Yeah. And it's Prince. I mean, the dude is just raking, just playing it. I mean, yeah. I still remember when people saw Prince and they're like, I didn't even know he played guitar. He's pretty good. I'm like,
He plays, I mean, literally, right? He played something like 27 different instruments.
Oh my God. The guy's a musical, he was
savant.
Yeah. He's a freak of nature, and he can do whatever he wants with any instrument.
God, he's the best.
Yeah.
He's the best. And so that's not a hot take. A million people said the Prince performance was the best. I mean,
it's always, recency bias and blah, 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 and whatever. People are going to say that they forgot about Prince, I'm sure. But they're wrong. I mean, if you're one of those people, go back, when you're not doing the Letterman YouTube, go find Prince at the Super Bowl, man. It's ridiculous.
And then find the Dave Grohl interview where he talks about being surprised to see him play Best of You in that halftime performance.
Yeah.
God, it was so good. I might watch that after we're done, Chris. So good.
Anyways, yeah.
So there, it's on record. That's the best Super Bowl game. You really care.
Check the box.
Our take's been made.
We spoke about the Super Bowl. So the NFL, send your check to, the Chicago office here.
Or at least alert the authorities so we don't get canceled.
Right.
Do we want to talk about waste management at all?
I think can we just celebrate? I don't know how you feel. I love the waste management tournament. We talked with Adam Fonseca about when the golf season began, and I said, waste management is kind of the beginning for me, and it did not let me down. It's just a blast. It's so much fun. I know people have their takes on it too, and it's whatever. But I love everything about it.
Is it not the Super Bowl halftime show crowd again, where people are like, ugh,
the golf version,
the golf hoppers,
right?
Yeah, and here's the thing, I'm okay with the Harry Higgs, Joel Damon thing.
Oh my
God.
Decide
that wasn't for you, and you're like, this is ridiculous. Okay, reel it in.
Oh, that was
fine.
Best.
I'm for it. I loved it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But I can get at least where somebody might. It just but
those are the people that those. I feel like that's the
the stuffy golf demographic,
right? Yeah, they're kind of.
Which I'm sort of shocked it's the same people who had a problem with the caddy races.
Correct.
Correct. It's like why I got here. If you had a problem for what those two did, here's my tip for you going forward. Don't watch the waste management.
Take the weekend off. Take the week off. Don't watch it. It's pretty easy to do. Go do something else. Read a book. Listen to a podcast. Watch Letterman on YouTube. Got options.
Exactly. So I didn't watch it nearly as much as I planned on, and I would say largely just being busy.
Yeah.
But I am much more tuned into the Olympics than I expected to be.
Are you really?
Yeah, and especially with the hockey, women's and men's.
Yeah.
And that has led to a lot of it's to the point it's noticeable at work because I'm like, well, I'm going to bed at 1:00, and then I go, Canada's playing the Russian Olympic Committee in the women's game at 7:10 in the morning, and I want to watch it.
Right.
Shout out Natalie Spooner and Sarah Nurse,
Yeah.
So that's beating me up a little bit. So I felt like I was paying attention more to that stuff, and I ended up missing out on some of the waste management stuff. And Sunday's a blur to me. I don't know why I missed any of the golf. I didn't get to watch it. So here's my question for you.
Okay.
I saw the aces, and I saw
that first ace on Saturday was, oh my God. That's just
the bedlam. Is bedlam a good word to choose here? That ensued.
It's just amazing. The beer showers. For the record, next year, plastic cups, everybody. Waste management, plastic cups. Let's, it's all fun, but I get the people that are they're throwing cans of beer out, that's not, I don't want anyone getting hit over the head. One caddy barely was just missed by a projectile beer can. So just do plastic cups next year and everything will be fine.
Well, so here's my question. Was there much engagement criticizing it, complaining, and being the sour pants?
Yes.
I felt like all I saw, and admittedly, we've talked about this in shows past, my timeline is fairly cleansed these days.
Yeah.
But I felt like all I saw were the people responding, hey, if you have a problem with it, this is where the game should be going, and like everybody defending it, but I didn't see the tape.
Oh God, there was a lot on my timeline that hated all of it.
Oh boy,
they hated all of it, and not even the like. Again, I get it. Cans all over the green, flying around. It's risk guy, right? Danger. Not great. Not a great look necessarily, but at the end of the day, it's. They weren't just complaining about that. They're complaining about the bedlam, the beer showers, the whole thing, the whole vibe of the thing. And you're just wrong, because it's still a sport. Like, let fans be fans. And, a lot of people are like, oh, this is why I wouldn't go, because a bunch of drunken idiots. Like, cool, don't go. No one's asking you to go. No one wants you to go.
I just looked into it. You don't have to go.
Right. Turns out, again, don't have to watch, don't have to go. Like,
hang on. You still don't have to.
Bill looked it up in his notebook. Everybody,
I looked it up. I have the note. It says you don't have to. You don't have to go or watch.
Yeah, you don't. And I'm not telling you that you should enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, fine. Just leave those of us alone that do enjoy it, and that is me. I love it. I think it's a blast. I think it's awesome. Someone had asked if there were another hole. So 16 to 16. If there were another hole on the tour that you could do something like that, where would you want it to be?
I don't know.
I think Sawgrass is the natural 17. Sawgrass is the natural place.
But then you're throwing it all into the water, and that creates a legit ecosystem problem. As we know from the turtle that walks along the cribbing and then takes an 8-foot dive. So we don't want all that shit going into the water.
That's true. That's the only downside. The only downside to it. But it's got the stadium vibe too. It already has the natural sort of amphitheater built into it. And
you're likely not damaging the green.
Right.
Maybe somewhere just to stick it to everybody. Let me see that at the memorial at Jack's place.
Yeah, someone said,
give me throw your milkshakes on the green.
Somebody said number 12 at Augusta. Like, oh my God. Could you imagine? Oh my God, that'd be.
I would love to see some big.
Could you imagine what Twitter would do? There would be a full blown meltdown. Like you think you don't like the 16 at Waste Management?
Just imagine if there was some huge patron revolt at Augusta with what are you gonna do? Throw us all out? I'd love to see that.
That would be fun.
I mean, this is probably not any future invites I had coming to Augusta National to play golf.
Yeah, I guess I won't go. I guess I won't go this year or the next year.
Yeah.
Next year, it was pointed out too in my little group chat with some pals that next year the Super Bowl is in Arizona on the weekend of Waste Management. So it's going to be one of those, collisions of just pure debauchery and drunkenness. And
you're an Arizona guy, so you can speak this. I feel like that's dumb on someone's part. Though I guess the Super Bowl, you go play in these warm climates. I get it. Yeah. And then nice new facilities.
Yeah.
So it's bound to happen, but
it only happens once every 10 years. It's happened before a handful of times, but it just so happens to fall in the same weekend. So that'll be
I sure hope this Super Bowl and the Waste Management tournament all survive.
And again, the Waste Management thing, even for me, I wouldn't know if I got an invite next year to go, I'd be not a chance. There's going to be 5 million people at that golf course. It'll be a disaster. But it is something I do. If you asked me this year or the year after the Super Bowl to go to one of the suites at 16, I'm game for that. I'd be in for that. But that's probably the only way I would go. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to be one of the loonies that are running to get a seat at 5 a.m.
I think if I were let's just say, I don't mean this in an age way, but the same phase of life as you, I could, where my kids are, what have you, and just my day-to-day life, I could be convinced to be what, Chris, you want me to go and do that with you? Yeah, let's go. But
oh man,
if
you complain about broy golf resort places. That
You
place,
and
that line, saying it line would break your brain, William.
It's such a weird anomaly, though. Like, it's a weird outlier.
Right.
It's, so isolated as its own little goofy thing that, like, that would be fun. Now, if someone would be like, hey, well, I don't know, I got dance competitions here. I got
I got to do other stuff. Right.
Yeah, it's like it's just not in the cards, and I don't want to go do it with like intern Grant. Hey, let's go do it. Like, man.
Yeah. Well, he was tall enough. He could probably just work as we could just follow his lead. He'd be like he'd be like a periscope. Like
I just couldn't I couldn't do that. And I was thinking about this sort of in the podcast conversation, just how I'm finally hitting that point where I don't speak the same language as the like cool kid generation anymore. Right. Or like, and I was listening to somebody go, it's insufferable listening to like 40 to 50-year-olds trying to sound like they're Zoomers, Right. And it's one thing when you do it on your podcast. It's another thing when it's like in your day-to-day life where you're like, hello, fellow kids.
Right. Yeah. The other thing too about like, if you and I were to go to Arizona the second week of February, I'm not wasting a day at a golf tournament. We are going to play golf. Like, I would much rather do that kind of thing. And
correct. I guess I'm saying this more theoretically, of course,
right,
but
right.
It's.
Anyways, this week I feel like is really like, I love Riviera. I love the golf course. I love the tournament. This one gets me excited. It's the last tournament in California. Regular PGA Tour stop in California before they head to Florida. This is always one of my favorites. We should also prepare everyone for the Tiger reliving.
Do you know Tiger's played golf at Riviera before? I got another one for you. Did you know Larry David's a member at Riviera?
I did know that. Did you know that Tiger Woods got into a car accident that week?
No, I don't remember that.
That's true. He did.
When that happened?
I'm not making light of it, anyone. I'm just telling you, you're going to get reminded a lot.
Did it happen in 2009?
No, that was different. That was something else.
Oh, okay. My mistake. Yeah, it's Riviera's fun.
But I do love the golf course. I really do.
It's wild to me that Riviera, when you look at it and the surroundings, like that place is 100 years old.
Yeah.
And to our conversations when we go and play the 100-year-old courses around us, I'm like, imagine this when there was nothing out there.
Right.
When you look in those views, like same thing with that place, buried down into that bowl.
Yep.
And Los Angeles wasn't surrounding the place,
Right. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I actually have a loose connection out there one day, like when life works out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a couple of friends who've played there, in fact, in the last couple months. And they said it's so weird. Like, you go to take a pee and you're standing at the urinal and it's a picture of like horses plowing out the holes
crazy,
in 1842 or whenever it was
just
built,
even pre-steam shovel architecture.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
And here it is, Riviera.
Super
Look
cool.
at that.
And they've got a great field this year. Real good field this year. So should be fun to watch.
All right, let's do some TV talk. Let's be honest. That's what we really want to talk about today.
Right.
So before we get going here, it sounds like you have finished season 4.
I have.
Of Dawson's Creek.
There's a lot of TV I feel like we need to cover, actually. But yeah, I just finished season 4 last night, episode 23. And I started season 5, episode 1.
Okay. Season 5. So you wrote that season 4 is overall very good.
Yes. Yes, it was.
This is a problem with binge watching to me.
I know. You forget. You have a terrible, you can recall, you have such recollection on so many things, but then like these
season 2 but when you're watching it night after night, and I'm not watching other shows, because we talk about this, I don't mean this like, woe is me, I'm such a busy human. Like I have small kids and a job.
Right.
Like
you get an hour.
I have so much, if even, right?
Right.
And, season 2, I mean, all I'm watching is one show for so long, especially this show, 26 episodes per season.
It's crazy how many episodes they did back then, man. Crazy. When you think about, it was 23 in a season and we're through 4. Like, oh my God. What are we at? What is that? Like 82, 92? What's the math on that?
23,000 episodes.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's 92. That's a lot. Yes.
So you lose track of what happened when.
Right.
And I felt like put it this way. I felt like season 4 left, finally got to a point where like, well, thank God we've grown up a little bit. I don't mean like the characters on the show. I mean like everybody involved in producing the show, like is moved forward in life somewhat. But there's some times where you're like, oh, we're going to do this character development you did in season 1 and 2. And I already know this. Like, great. Let's just replay this event over and over again.
Right. Which is what they do with Michelle. They have no idea what
Jen Lindley.
They have no.
Her name is Michelle Williams.
Yeah, they had no idea what to do with her character throughout season 4. I felt bad for her. She was kind of on an island. She had to, they did the Drew thing, and it didn't really, there's no chemistry there. It was not good. Like Drew's a bad character.
He is a bad character.
He's just a bad character. Yeah, he did. Yeah. It was nothing.
Season 5. Don't worry. We're just gonna retry a Jen Lindley storyline from season 1.
Yeah. Okay. With the kid from the OC?
No, after him.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to ruin anything, but like even that, you're like, oh God. Now here's one thing I'm going to spoil for you.
Okay.
You have to look forward to. I think we're on like 10 or 11.
Jesus. Yeah, you guys are plowing.
I think. I could be wrong.
No wonder you can't remember. You guys are.
Wow, that's what I watch. We watch it every friggin' night. Yeah. And so who goes out? Aubrey, who's Busy Phillips.
Right.
It's great to have her back.
Yeah.
Which, God, we needed her bad.
Yeah.
She goes out. Pacey goes out.
Okay.
And Joey goes out. And
they go out together?
Yes.
Okay.
They go to some bar.
All right.
And they're going to kiss boys. And it's just like
a good time.
Yeah. Great time. And they run into the OC guy because he plays in a band.
Yeah,
right?
bassist, dangerous.
And he's playing.
Never trust a bassist. And sorry, bassists out there.
Busy Phillips, Katie Holmes, and Joshua Jackson can't keep track of each other at this bar. Just who?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you hear it, and my wife goes, "Oh God, they're doing it again." And I know exactly what she means.
The 3-part show.
No.
Okay.
Another, just in case. We all forgot that Katie Holmes was this multi-talented person. Another Joey singing event.
Oh yeah.
And it's just I mean, I know times have changed or whatever, but it's just not good. And I almost get that like second degree embarrassment watching it. I go, am I supposed to look at this and be like, wow, she's so cool, and God, she can sing, and she's a dorky college kid though. It was so awkward.
Well, I'll be the decider on that, because I feel like you're harsh on Joey always. You're so harsh on her. She's in her shell constantly. So maybe it's more about her. It wasn't about being good. It was about her coming out of her shell and being, being vulnerable.
No, as you find out, there's a different girl. I don't want to ruin it.
Okay,
there's a different girl.
Okay.
And if someone brings up that other girl showed her face, she'll deny it ever happened. You'll see. It's an episode. But God, Busy Phillips is such a great addition to the show.
She's very good. And she's always been good. She's good in everything she ever does.
Season 5.
Did you watch Freaks and Geeks?
I did. I was so young though that it didn't stick right.
Add that to the list. We should rewatch.
I do need to and it's been in my rewatch, a million times.
God,
I just don't do it.
So great. God, that's so good.
I feel like, again, because we can't figure out 5 seasons into a 26 episode per season show what to do with people, they finally figure out what they want to do with Pacey and hit a stride with him.
Oh, good.
And I feel like he's starting to settle into his own.
Okay.
And I'm enjoying him so far in season 5. Like, I like his character. I like who he is as a person. I like where we're at.
Yeah.
There is a weird moment. Do you recall? It's in actually the same episode as Joey singing, but do you recall? And it might go for the final 2 seasons. He's driving around like a cool classic Mustang.
I don't remember that.
Oh, I didn't mind spoiling it because that's one of the things. Even now, I still go, oh, that's. You mean he didn't have that the whole show? Like remember they had like a Cherokee wagon or whatever that they drove. See, to me, I always remembered Pacey as like, oh yeah, that cool Mustang because he's, the cool guy Pacey. I forgot it was season 5.
That's really funny. I was always envious of Dawson's Jeep. That CJ7 that he had was just gorgeous, man. What a vehicle.
The amount of vehicles that come through that family. I feel
yeah.
And they don't have money and whatever, but they have like the probably $3 million house in a quaint little like summer village. It doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, he's got the cool Jeep.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pacey's Mustang, and he explains how he gets it. And it's sort of like a monumental moment. I wonder if something just didn't happen with the actor that played Pacey's dad, that they couldn't get him back to like get this closure in his life, especially for how much
tells the story. Like,
yeah. And you're like, seems like there's a really big deal for your character development to just omit here.
Yeah. That's kind of funny.
Anyway, Pacey's Mustang, it was great. I was so happy to see it back. I'm like, that's my guy.
I was surprised. Real quick, we'll close out this segment of Dawson's Creek talk, but for season 4, episode 22, which I thought was a very, very well done episode, the graduation episode. I did not expect there to be a episode 23 after that. I thought that would be the season finale.
If I'm not mistaken, there's a 23 and a 24, isn't there?
No, I think it goes 23-5-1. I don't think this is 24 because 22 is
for the record. You could tell me it went to 37. And like, oh yeah, that's okay.
Everyone graduates. Pacey's walking to the plane, and that's when you hear, it was like the J cut where you hear him being announced at graduation as he's walking to the plane. It was like, that was like perfect. But then the finale is the kiss at the end with Dawson and Joey. And then we pick up in 5-1 and, whatever. By the way,
that happen at 5-1? Does whatever happen at 5-1 or the end of season 4?
Well, season 4 is when they kiss and it ends.
That's the cliffhanger is not the life-changing event. That was season 5, episode 1.
Oh no, that's episode 4, or that's episode 23 of season 4. Like the life-changing event, he's like, it could be this one right here, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And then season 5, episode 1, he's supposed to come visit her, or I think maybe it's episode 2. He's supposed to come visit her. He's in California. He gets fired because he tells the director to screw off because he's Dawson Creek with his 5 o'clock shadow.
The thing I'm thinking of. Yeah. See, this is exactly what I mean. The thing I'm thinking of is episodes into season 5.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not there yet. Not there yet.
So this is the binge thing, and this is why
you got to get a notebook or something, man. God, get it together.
It doesn't matter.
I remember. I'm watching like 4 shows right now at once.
You're still going to yell at me about it, so it doesn't matter.
Give me your opinion of the Boba Fett finale.
Is much better than episode 9. Right? It's 10 episodes.
Chapter.
Sorry. God, see here. I'm sorry, I'm getting TV talk wrong. There's 9 of them though, right?
I think
and then this was the last one's 10.
Yeah.
And 9 was the one with the horrible Luke Skywalker where we're like, shark has been jumped.
It's clunky, yeah.
So I felt like if I can be honest and not get in trouble for it, I felt like the premise was much better. The storyline was good. I liked what was happening, but there, like all of a sudden, it's sort of, God, what was that movie? Was it The Irishman with Robert De Niro? And they did the really bad CGI to like make the old guys look young.
Yes.
And it just like, they looked like computer generated younger guys moving like geriatrics.
Right. Like old men. Right.
Yeah. I felt like the 2 armored individuals, Boba Fett and how do you say it? Din Djarin,
right? Yeah,
Mando, if you will,
right?
Like the way they would like be
floating
in sync, hopping around together, and it just like it just was so unrealistic to the point where I'm going, man, the stuff when we're watching Luke fly down chutes and grab onto antennas with one hand
in
1977. Right. Or whatever it was, right. It was so much more believable than what I was watching here.
Yeah.
And I felt like a lot of the action taking place was just so unbelievable. And this is after we've been buying into a intergalactic force known as the Mods riding Vespas, like with little guns, but they can take on armies. Like, I was okay with that. I get they're kind of like the gangsters. Cool. That's what frustrated me. It's like, God, you guys were this close to be like, all right, fine. We just had one bad episode this season. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
And this took place. Like, it just seemed like there's so much like corny, not believable in the Star Wars thing. I don't even know what to call it at this point. You know, like the whole conglomerate that is Star Wars production.
Right.
And what blows my mind is like Favreau is just so good with this stuff. Usually I'm sort of shocked it was that like I said, the Irishman and the old man CGI. Yeah. That's what it reminded me of. Episode content wise, script and, you know, plot line and all that was good. It was very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do want to come back for more. I do want to know what happened.
I wonder if there will be more Boba Fett, or if it's going to become just a Mandalore story.
Maybe they collide back. Yeah. I want to know what happened to Luke's X-Wing.
What do you mean? What happened to Luke? Oh, that R2-D2 flew it. What do you mean? He flew it back? Yeah.
Back. So he just dropped off.
He just dropped the kid off. Yeah, you got to go.
And flew it back. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
That's fine.
I thought the fight scenes were fun. I think I enjoyed them. You know, it was action and whatever.
They were fun when you took Mando and Boba Fett out of them. The rest of them were okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I appreciated the, you know, Happy Town or whatever it is, citizens
yep.
coming to save them, you know. That was nice. But yeah, I kind of wonder what's the next piece of it, because so now, just so we understand here, we'll get into the Star Wars canon. That's the word you're looking for, canon.
No, I specifically did not mean canon. It's like, honestly, like, I mean, I'm talking like the shit I see at Disney World when I go to Galaxy Edge and see the stormtroopers walking around.
Okay, like, fair enough.
Just and how the product delivers itself generally.
All right. I see what you're saying. Okay. Okay. But anyways, Grogu has left the Force, right? So Luke said, you can't do both. You got to pick one or the other. So he left.
Which is right. Which we believe.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the Mandalorian, since he took his helmet off, he's got to pay a bit of a penance. He's not really a Mandalorian anymore until he pays off pays his dues. So I wonder if that's where we're going to head next, so that he can use that sword and whatnot. That's why I wonder if was Boba Fett just a one-off thing to tell the story? Because they did tie up all the loose ends. Like, what's next for Boba Fett?
But they did leave that with, well, this isn't for us.
That's true. That is true. You're right. I forgot about that.
And tossed a melon to Chewbacca's cousin and said, to imply he's in charge now, which
Black Chewbacca.
While we're at it, give that a storyline. It'd probably be pretty good. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Did you watch it? Did you read anything about what was the super cool bad guy, the Western quick shooter guy? Cad, what's his name?
I can't remember, but where he's the same as the Cantina guys.
Yeah, I mean he's got the hat and the whole thing, right? Yeah. And apparently there's some debate over whether or not he's actually dead. So
do you think it's interesting that he had a duel of sorts with what's that guy's name? Timothy Oliphant, who was the sheriff or whatever in that Western
of Happy Town
show,
right?
No, it was called like it wasn't Deadwood, was it?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, no. I know what you're talking about. Right. Yeah.
Or I'm like, that guy just gets signed up to be.
He's got the look.
Kind of like, he does. He's cool as shit.
Yeah.
I respect it, and I'm like, hell yeah, let's cast him again. I don't care.
Right.
You're right. I'm surprised he's not in Yellowstone. Put him in it. I haven't seen Yellowstone.
He was busy doing,
You watch Yellowstone, right?
I have not. I haven't seen any of it.
All right, that's good. That's on my list because everybody says how good it is. I feel like something about it will make me mad. Like, this isn't that far off from real life, and I hate the world we live in.
I'm wondering if, because 1893 came out, right? So can you watch 1893 now first and then watch Yellowstone, and it'll be like, be cooler or something?
I don't know. Good question.
I don't even know. I don't know anything about any of those shows.
Might have to explore that. But here's the problem. We have to take a break. Well, I have to take a break after I finish season 5 because our favorite show, our mutual favorite show is back. Mrs. Maisel.
Oh, is it back? It's coming back?
It's like this week or next week.
What? Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Yes, let's do it. So let's go.
I'm going to finish season 5 and do it. But then it came up like, do we stop where we are in season 5 and go to it? I'm like, no, because God help me. I'll be like, all right,
you won't remember
what's going on in Dawson's? What insufferable like conversation are Joey and Dawson repeating for the 7 millionth time? I don't know.
Oh, that's exciting news. Thank you for telling me about that.
Oh yeah, and I saw like a trailer for it, and it looks fantastic. I'm very excited.
Oh god, that show's so great.
Side note, last TV show thing.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen the teasers yet for it, but Shoresy, the Letterkenny spinoff, that's coming out.
Okay.
I'm very excited about that.
Never seen an episode of Letterkenny.
Be very hockey based. I'm excited for it.
Okay.
Shout out Terry Ryan being in it. Can't wait to see that. All right, Chris.
Yeah,
you're a busy guy in internet golf media lately.
Tell you
what do you want to talk about? What do you got going on? Do your plugs.
Yeah. So you have another what's in the box that just dropped.
Took me a second. Again,
yeah.
This one
I think that's like your fifth one in a row. Like, someone please send me something to open on camera.
Well, good news for you.
Louise.
The well is dry. So your boy's been hitting the pavement, doing some begging, being like, ugh.
I should have done some staggering of those instead of every Tuesday. But anyways, there's an unboxing, which is one that's near and dear to my heart. Little birthday edition of what's in the box. And then I do have a new episode of Golf Origin Stories with Augustine Pisa. He is a golf course architect out of Mexico, and now San Diego too. He's got 2 offices, but he's an awesome dude. Yeah, really, really, really fun conversation. He was gonna build buildings, and one of the guys, he was like, digging holes or something, as a contractor or construction guy or whatever, while he was going to school to build buildings, and he ran into like Jack Nicholas's nephew or uncle's brother or something, and they were talking, and that's when he didn't realize it never occurred to him that you design and build golf courses, and just the idea of it sent him in that direction.
That's cool.
So it's pretty fun.
I will say, call back to the beginning of the show, when Matt was saying he's looking for podcasts, I say, like, hey, recommendation. I go, actually, my good friend Chris McEwen has a show called Golf Origin Stories, and my buddy Matt, not that he doesn't golf ever, but he's not a golf guy. It's not his thing. Said you should listen to Golf Origin Stories, and it's good because like there's golf stuff, but it's very not golfy.
It's true.
And there's nothing like it out there, so go check that out. Thanks, man. It's a great show.
You're the best.
At that,
did I ever tell you that? Do I ever tell you that? You're the best, William.
No, I think you're mad at me right now. We'll talk about that more, but I don't know really what I did, but I feel bad about it.
What do you got? What do you have going on over at drivingrangeheroes.com?
Bad edit in my notes here. Apparently, review for the True Linkswear Fujikura Ventus TR shaft. Just kidding. The Fujikura Ventus TR shaft review went up this week.
I saw that drop today, right? As
today, as we're recording, hey, give me a little credit because I knew I did it and I knew it was bad. But my social media post where I said roses are red,
it was very good.
Ventus TRs are blue. Like good. I thought that. Very go good. Read our review. Like I thought that's pretty. And I knew it was bad. Like I knew it. And if anyone thought I was being clever, whatever, I get it. It's stupid. That's the point.
I thought it was wonderful and perfect. Just we're
very self-aware on this show, whether people believe it or not. Like almost to a fault.
It is to a fault. Not almost. It's to a fault.
To a fault.
Yeah.
I would argue at the end of the day, if we're both being honest, we're both insecure people.
Oh my God. Would you? Yeah. My therapist would agree.
Right. So there's plug in that. Also, the new Tour Edge 722 exotic 722 irons are out.
Oh, that's right.
Check that out. Yeah. And we got all the details on that. Not sure when we'll have some reviews on it. Been working the way through the woods because we have so many of them as they are doing the 2 series.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this show a little bit, the Tour Edge stuff. I texted you this past week. I was looking through my picture, my camera roll on my phone, and I had the picture. We had tape on the C722 driver, which we were hitting with the Fujikura Ventus TR in it.
Correct.
And I almost feel like we should drop it in here. If you still have the picture, drop it in on the YouTube just to show people.
Yeah.
But we had 2 people hitting this club, and the impact pattern, especially as amateur golfers, is pretty much exactly everything you could ask for.
It's pretty crazy considering like you would not look at my swing and look at your swing and be like, yeah, same swing.
Well, and neither of us
or speed or anything.
Our gamer prior to this
right.
could create this pattern, let alone 2 of us on the same club.
Yeah,
like
that is pretty
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I think I texted you. I'm like, I see that and go, man, you and I with this in our bag, if we do this year, could be there. We don't have any excuses. We should be pretty good out the tee. And then I realized, wait a minute. No, we could still go way left, way right into another zip code, but it's just going to go a lot farther.
It'll be straight and far, but still in the wrong direction.
I mean, not necessarily even straight, but maybe it's going to get maximum speed off the face.
Yeah. I'm willing to take my chances on that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a given. Yeah. And then we have a Vintage Range Hero post that's I've had in the queue for a while. I'm pretty excited about, but if you want to learn about vintage, like real vintage golf clubs, hickory, etc., it's a good one to check out. He explains Pyratone golf shafts. Little sneak peek. They were the bridge between wood hickory shafts and the steel shafts as we know them today. So if you want to learn about Pyratone golf shafts and what they were, you're talking like late 20s into the 1930s where those were a thing. Check that out. Yeah,
man, lots of stuff.
About it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. You know what you're not plugging? You should plug.
What's that?
Before we wrap up here. The series you're doing with Adam Unfiltered.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's why I wasn't super engaged in the Super Bowl, because I was actually writing a script. Can you believe that?
I'm a little disappointed to hear that, Adam. But
well, not so much a script, more of just an outlet. Anyways, so Adam Fonseca and Adam Unfiltered off, however you want to call it, whatever you want to call him, he of golfunfiltered.com and Golf Unfiltered podcast, have teamed up to tell a little story about someone in the Twitterverse, like in the golf Twitter world. Some people may not even be aware of this, but there is this account called the Secret Tour Pro. Mm-hmm. And we kind of tell this story and whether or not you know about the Secret Tour Pro or experienced the height of Secret Tour Pro on Twitter, it doesn't really matter because I didn't know the whole story either. I learned it as I was editing and things. It's pretty wild.
After I talked to you and I said, hey, what's going on? And we were talking about it. I was like, man, honestly, in our little circle of people, I'm like, if there's somebody to do this, it's Adam Unfiltered.
100%. 100%.
To the point I wouldn't tell him to do this by any means, but he is a very fun/funny storyteller. Mm-hmm. And, I just think of like all the goofy tales I've heard from this guy. And I think this kind of stuff, this will be a very good series if you two do it right. Don't screw it up. It's not going to be
it's not a funny series. Just as a heads up.
Being in the sense of being a good storyteller.
Yes.
And to the point where I'm like, I feel like him doing mini series of storytelling, golf or golf related,
right,
could be a nice little thing from him. And I'm very excited for this.
Yeah. The trailer dropped today, which was a lot of fun.
My rules, like I don't like listening to my friend's stuff. It's a weird position.
Right.
I'm very excited to listen to this.
This will be a fun one. It'll be totally different than anything that I've done, anything Adam's done, but I think we have a good topic and some good material.
Good material.
So go find it.
That said, this has been That Range Life, a show sometimes about golf, podcast and YouTube show. Do us a favor, please, and tell your friends, subscribe to the podcast, rate it, leave a comment if you can, all that kind of stuff. Go over to the YouTube page too, subscribe there, hit the bell,
definitely,
please, so you get notified when, teasing another thing, Kris and I are in the works and something else.
Are we ever?
The new content.
Talk about that too after the show. We have post-production meeting.
We have a couple. So we have that. That's gonna be nice if that works out. Hit the bell so you get notified when that stuff comes, or like the waves of unboxings, whatever it is, so you get the videos. You should follow him on @Kris McEwen on all the social medias. Follow me at Range Heroes. Go over to drivingrangeheroes.com. You read all the stuff, do all the things. Really appreciate it. This has been episode 106 on YouTube. I don't know what on the podcast. Just listen to it. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.